Welcome to HIT Podcast, HIT, Human Resources, Insurance, and Technology. I'm your host, Toby Kennedy. As we do every week, we're dropping your feet on Tuesdays with what I hope are bite-sized, digestible, well-curated conversations going on in the space. This week's episode will be no exception. This week's episode is brought to you by Montage Insurance Solutions. And without any further ado, let's get right into today's topic. 'Tis the season, right? We're getting into holiday party season. So I just wanted to do a quick episode to maybe bring up a few things for you to think about going into holiday party season. Sort of first things first, we want to set the tone. Like, what's the purpose of the holiday party? Is it to celebrate folks? Is it to show appreciation? Is it to boost morale? Is it to further the culture? Is it just to provide a break? So we want to kind of be thoughtful about why are we doing this holiday party? And as we go to build around the rest of it, can we tie it back into our culture, our values in some way? How can we be thoughtful about that aspect of why we're even doing this in the first place? Thought number two gets to inclusivity and maybe some sensitivity. So for example, not everybody celebrates the same holidays at the end of the year. And I know it's pretty obvious we don't call it a Christmas party, right? But also things like dietary restrictions, religious restrictions, various beliefs, sort of making sure that we're thoughtful about our staff, our folks, and that we're inclusive for everybody so that we can kind of circle back to point number one, the point of all this, right? If we were trying to build appreciation or further our company culture, we wouldn't want to detract from that with different employees without being thoughtful about some of their sensitivities. You know, thing number three, we want to think about our budget, right? Does this turn into a formal party? Is this kind of a casual gathering? Do we maybe simply give the gift of time off? How much do we have to go towards this holiday party? And maybe can we think about any low-cost options or things that we might be able to accomplish at kind of a lower cost if we give a little bit of thought to it, right? So sort of wrapping our head around the budget, probably very important, right? Point number three. Point number four, the alcohol, right? To serve or not to serve, right? And, bringing our insurance around as well. So obviously, in our day job, we do insurance consulting. We have companies that come to us for certificates of insurance for everything from, hey, we're going to have an aerialist to, hey, we're going to have a bartender, right? So if you're serving, do you have a bartender? Is that bartender coached up on cutting people off if need be? Do you have a certain drink minimum? Are you also thoughtful about, if you are doing alcohol, some mocktails as well for folks? And maybe reminding everybody about some of our company policies and harassment policies and all the things that maybe go around giving some thought to how, where, and how much alcohol is or isn't included in the holiday party. Point number five comes right off of that, and that's that kind of legal thought, right? So especially if we are having alcohol involved, there's liability stuff to be thoughtful about. There's the venue itself, so getting those folks involved. And then again, just to reiterate, maybe a refresher for everybody on kind of code of conduct policies, harassment policies ahead of time, just to get in front of some of the legal compliance, insurance-y types of things. Point number six, I think maybe more fun, right? Recognition and acknowledgement. How can we use this party as an opportunity to not feel work-like, to maybe be able to be a celebration, a recognition time, an awards time sort of a thing. So maybe trying to be thoughtful about adding an element of that to our holiday party as well. Point number seven involves thoughtfulness for our remote folks or our hybrid teams, right? So how can we include the out of town, out of state folks, maybe sending Uber Eats gift cards, maybe, Zoom sessions? What all can we do to include them? But we certainly want to make sure that we're thoughtful about it. And if applicable to our company culture, and we do have people that are away and that can't be there in person, the inclusion for those folks. Point number 8, I just want to bring up for us to consider are maybe some pitfalls, right? So first of all, you might want to consider not making it mandatory. We definitely want to be thoughtful about favoritism or even perceived favoritism in the recognition. And honestly, on the same point of kind of forced attendance, any of that kind of mandatory fun feel that it can have if corporate's putting their hand on it a little bit too hard. I think just, you set up the design of these things, and folks that can make it and families that can make it, great. And we're thoughtful about sort of all the things that we've already talked about, but allowing it to not necessarily be work and not necessarily be mandatory might add an air of lightness to it. Point number 9 is just a little bit of thinking outside of the box, right? So maybe experience-based stuff. People do escape rooms, for example, or volunteering, or some other type of experience to where what the holiday party is turns into a kind of a cool team building sort of an event, which gets into another question to think about, right? In our food for thought, are we making this family friendly or adults only? Or maybe, one thing Danon does a tremendous job of here is kind of both, right? So you can maybe have the daytime part that's kid friendly and family friendly, and maybe an adults only section at the end if you'd like, right? But being thoughtful about some of these questions that you grapple with, I think, can set us up for success. And sort of one last point on that, maybe considering making it like wellness focused. So giving a wellness stipend or something healthy based, or even like bonus PTO type of a thing, all kind of things to consider when we're crafting our holiday party. So we wanted to hit on kind of 9 different food for thought sort of angles as we get into holiday party season, and just make sure that you're considering all the things you want to consider so that you can have the most bespoke and awesome holiday party possible. That's all the time we have for you on this week's episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to our sponsors, Rula, Excel Health, TrueHue, Montage Insurance Solutions. Those guys keeping the lights on. We're blessed to be here. Thank you guys for joining us. Join us next week. Join us every week. And until next week, make this the best week yet.